Hi there, this is Igor Pechkovsky with Windermere Bellevue Comments, your real estate trusted advisor expert on real estate in Seattle and Eastside, your retail broker, you name it. I'm here once again. It's been quite a while and just pleasure to be back to our regular monthly market update report. Guys, let me tell you something. There were a lot of changes in the market. I think I'm probably quite surprised you with the latest numbers, because the last months we didn't do the market update. We did the commercial market update, and you haven't seen that, please go back to the last month's report and check that out. It's a very good visual graphic report of what companies are moving in and where and how many. And today it's just time to catch up with where the retail market is, where the numbers are for Bellevue, for Seattle, for Snohomish County, and believe me, I think I'll surprise you a bit. At least I was surprised, and I don't get surprised way too often. Just trust me, I've seen it a lot of things. But I think you'll be surprised where the market are, and we will talk where the market is heading, because the interest rates are quite different now than they were a month ago. So stay tuned. Let's get through this, and let's start with my favorite, Bellevue. There you go. So if you're ready, let's start. Bellevue. So Bellevue is it's been a fun market for quite a while to be in, but now let's look. Let's start with my favorite. Median price $1.7 million. 1.7, folks. It's insane. 1.7 million. Can you hear that? Do you believe it? We just last month or a couple of months ago, we were at like 1.5. Last year, 1.3 sounded crazy. Like we were like, oh my God, $1.3 million in Bellevue, median price. We're at 1.7. And that's median. It's not the highest, it's median. So if I see the house in Bellevue listed for any price below 1.4 million is the price of land in Bellevue. No matter what the condition is, if the house is listed under 1.4, consider the bidding will start at 1.4 because the median is at $1.7 million. Wow. When I saw that number, I was like, yeah, I knew it, but then when you actually see it, $1.7 million median price. And why is that? Well, you don't have to go very far. Inventory is at 0.4 of a month, right? So last year, this time we were at 0.2, we were double inventory, 0.4. Wow, still not enough houses. And look at this over asking slide. But the shocker here is 85% of homes in March sold over asking, which is less. In February, it was 87. But average days in the market, 4 days, which is extremely smoking fast. Homes are selling. And the median price that we have, median difference from the list price is 21%. That's a median. If the house is hot, it goes 35% over. So if you were the buyer on the east side, unfortunately, sometimes, whatever your price point is, you have to start at least 20% below that price point. So you have the runway to get to where the houses would sell for. And one other slide, the cost of waiting. So we have interest rates. On this slide, they're higher now, but on this slide in March 2022, they were at 4%, last year at 3. And as you could see, at the higher purchase price, with the median being 1.7, it's $2,500 a month difference year to year. It's a lot. $2,500 a month difference of waiting, cost of waiting between every year. Yep. So let's compare, right? Every year we have the market kind of kicking butt a little harder, and people like, oh my God, this was really, really insane, and it couldn't be like that for forever, which I agree. But let's look year to year. March 22, how that compares of listings sold about list price comparing to other years. So check the slide. The blue one is 2022 and the orange one was 2021. And last year was kicking butt. Like it was quite high, right? It was quite hot. You could compare to the previous years of 20 and 19 and 18, which are dark colors. So the orange last year was like 76% over asking comparing to 56 the year prior or so on is quite a bit. But look at the blue one. It's way above all of the lines previously. 85% over asking in March, way higher than anything we had experienced quite so far. And that's just the market had been up to date. All right, let's move on. So we always been talking about Seattle as the place where the market is hot, but it's a little slower. And it is a little bit slower, but it is still very hot. So let's look in Seattle. The median $970,000 comparing to $825 a year ago. Huge jump, giant jump, almost let's call it $1 million. I think we're gonna cross $1 million median in Seattle over the next couple of months. Most likely it would happen. The reason why, 0.3 of a months of inventory as well as available. Guys, you gotta remember, people ask me, hey, are we in the bubble here in Seattle, Bellevue? Of course we're in the bubble. Like we have no inventory and all the money in the world in this city. And I talk about the money, check out my commercial report. You'll figure out about the money. And inventory, back to remind you, we have no land. There is no buildable land around. It's all mountains and lakes. It's unbuildable, right? There is very little land available. You have a huge demand, no land. And we live in democratic state, which means there are a lot of regulations and it's really hard to build something and it's really expensive and it's really challenging to get anything done, any permitting done. So for that reason alone, that's why we see those numbers skyrocketing. So back to over asking, 71% of listings went over asking in the month of March comparing to 62 in February. And median difference price from the list price is 15%. And over the last couple of months, we were at like 12% median. Now we're pushing 15, which I only can say as we kind of phase off the pandemic and moving into normal life type of a deal, we have Seattle market is picking up. How is it picking up? Let's compare it as well to other years. You have bright blue is 2022. And as you see, it's still quite higher than anything else there was. I'm not gonna go through other years. You could just purely see it. 71% for March is higher than ever in Seattle it's been. This has been the story of our lifetime so far in real estate market. So let's look into Snohomish County and let's wrap it up. And a few words on Snohomish County. So check this out, a median 25% over the last year. Last year we were at 640. Today we're at 800 for the residential median price in Snohomish. It's quite a lot, right? It's very high. The reason, back to inventory, 0.4 of a month. So what happens with the offer? Look, it's just like Seattle and Eastside pretty much. 73% homes sell over asking, a huge number, and 14% median difference from the list price on on every offer that you put, which could be higher, could be smaller, but 14% difference. It's quite an uptick from the last year, because last year we were like at 9-10% months on months, but right now it's at 14. Yes, let's put this all in perspective and look at it all once again, one more time. So before we wrap up, two more things. We'll talk about where the market is going right after we look into this slide for March 2022, where we compare all of the areas in one good slide. Check this out. Median sold price, 17, 97, 930, and 800. Change year to year, the east side 26%, Seattle is kicking butt, right? Seattle is picking up 18%, King County 13%, but Snohomish becomes a very hot place, right? I mean, it's always been, but especially here, just like the east side, which is, go check out downtown Bellevue of everything that is going on. Snohomish, 25%. So people, if they cannot afford Bellevue, which a lot of can't anymore, the first look, let's go Bothell, let's go north, right? Schools are good. We talk about Renton changing and school districts changing, but North Shore School District, people go up north. Bellevue, Bothell is really expensive. So you start looking at Mill Creek area, Lake Stevens area, everything is super hot. Homes sold above asking, 85%, 82 is Snohomish, like amount above list price, median 21. It's really hard, and the reason for it, no inventory. So friends, I know that every month we talk about the same thing. We look at numbers and they are record high and record high and record high. And the thing is, do I see anything that would change it? Well, the only thing is interest rates. So the slide that we saw previously, the March interest rates were at 4%, and now they're almost at 6%. It's a huge difference, gigantic, 6%. We have to fight inflation, right? We have to fight inflation. We talked about that already. So inflation is high. If you're interested about interest rates, check out my video on interest rates. So we know that right now they're at 6%, but they will go down. It's just a matter of time. Maybe in a year and a half, maybe in 2, they will go down. It always happens. Exact same thing. Patterns happens. You know, history repeats itself. So far I hadn't had a chance to see interest rates slow in the market, but already the conversation started to happen. And in fact, I already have a couple of clients that say, look, let's wait out, let's see what happens. Well, I'll tell you what happens next. What happens is there will be a little slowdown in the market. There should be. I hope for one, right? But you have to keep on staying active because that is your opportunity. When others would be pulling down and saying, oh, it's too expensive. The reality is, think, what if you would bought 3 years ago? How would you feel right now? I think you'd feel pretty good, right? And probably the market will overall go up over the next couple of years unless anything huge major happens. So the current slowdown in the market due to interest rates creates an opportunity to you. First of all, we hadn't seen a slowdown, but you always got to remember this. Interest rates will go down and you will be able to refinance. So interest rates don't matter. If you still can afford something, I would just keep on looking to purchase and lock the price. You cannot change the sell price, but you can change the interest rate. So even if interest rates will reduce the activity and slow down the market a bit, even if it happens, it should happen. It'd be a great opportunity for you to act, to try with all you got, to lock the purchase price at whatever the interest payment you can, and 2 years later refinance. Those are my thoughts to you. You know, don't lose hope. I know that numbers work against you, but my real advice to you, if you can buy, I'd probably find a way to buy. At least I'll be looking market very closely, and next month we're gonna come back to our conversation. I'll tell you more of where the numbers are, and stay tuned. Thank you for being with us. Igor Pechkovsky, your Windermere Real Estate Agency trusted advisor on the Eastside and Seattle and Bellevue markets. Thank you. See you next month.